well done. You've made it to the end. This is module 6, Know Your Numbers, and well done for still being here, still investing in yourself and in your business. Congratulations. We've got a little bit of work to do. Then we're going to do some reflection and some congratulations. So we are talking about all the things, numbers in your business, not just the financials, not just the money coming in and the money coming out, but also the number of customers that you have, what you're spending on customer acquisition, and what that is turning into in terms of your profit and loss. So if you are unsure about your numbers, then today is the day to kind of throw off any fears, throw off all of that unknownness and really get stuck in, because I know that so many small business owners have the inclination sometimes to throw their head in the sand when it comes to numbers. If there's enough money in the bank, if there's enough customers coming in the door, then she'll be right, and off we move forward. And I've been guilty of that as well, but I really want to empower you today to know and understand the numbers in your business, to be able to track those numbers that are really important in order to be able to make really informed and strategic decisions when it comes to moving your business forward. We're going to start off with a beautiful brain dump about knowing your numbers, because it is, of course, important for you to get all of this stuff out of your head. And if you're feeling a bit hesitant when it comes to each of the different numbers in your business, then perhaps you can write down some of those fears as well. But if not, I want you to think about the kind of numbers that you are already tracking. I want you to think about the numbers that you think you should be tracking, and really get down on a piece of paper everything that you need, everything that's in your head when it comes to knowing the numbers in your business. And I encourage you to pause the video and to get that brain dump done now. Make sure you put on a song that's going to get you pumped up. Something with a money theme, perhaps. All right. So when it comes to knowing your numbers, I want you to think about what you're measuring now and what you should be measuring. And I kind of gave you a couple of prompts before in terms of, yes, we should be tracking the money that's coming into our business. We should understand what cash flow looks like on a month to month and year to year basis. When is there lots of cash in the bank? When is there not a lot of cash in the bank? When do we know that we're going to be making a lot of money? When do we know that our quiet season is going to be here? So what are the things that we're currently measuring in terms of income and revenue? What are the things that we know about our spending habits? What does it look like month on month? Do we have some months that we know are really tight when it comes to our expenses? Do we have, our electricity and our heating and our insurance all due at the same time, and therefore we know that cash flow is going to be tight? And what can we do about that? We're going to be thinking about that a little bit later. But have a think about those things that you're measuring already. Perhaps you're already really clear on how many customers you need to have into your business, walking through your business or heading to your website in order to convert into customers. Of course, every single person that walks into our store is not necessarily going to spend money with us, but it's really important that we understand how many people we need to get into the store and what our conversion rate is on those people, and therefore how many people we need to get through the door in the first place. So if there's anything on that list that you are not already tracking, I want you to put that in the what I should be measuring column. And for those things that you are already measuring, I want you to put them in the what I measure now. Then I want you to have a think about, and you can look back on your brain dump to see if this kind of brought anything to the forefront for you. But I want you to think about what the roadblock is for you in measuring each of those numbers. Perhaps you're not quite sure how to track your analytics when it comes to your website. Perhaps you need to book in a little lesson with your website developer, or perhaps you need to Google and watch a YouTube video as to how to do that, depending on which system that you use, just so that you can get really clear on how many people are coming to your website. Perhaps you need to do some tracking as to where people are, tuning out when it comes to your website. There is so much great online strategy that you can have access to when it comes to your social media, but also when it comes to important things like your website. You can find out when people are leaving. You can find out what people are reading and what they're not reading. You can find out when, different links aren't working on your website, and all of this stuff is important. But perhaps you have a roadblock for yourself when it comes to that, because you're unsure about the technology. You're unsure of how to do it or how to move forward. I encourage you to write that roadblock down, because as soon as you acknowledge it, that's the first step to being able to get stuck into it and fix it. Once you have figured out what those roadblocks are, I encourage you to get really proactive. And I'm not saying you have to do it yourself. I'm not saying you have to now learn a brand new skill and go and get trained up on website analytics and you can easily find someone who can do that for you, and it can be quite affordable as well. But it's really important that you understand each of those numbers in your business, and you really understand especially when it comes to the customers that you need and the money that you're spending and the money that you're bringing in. And if you're confused about that, perhaps your roadblock is you don't want to sit down with your accountant, because that gives you, anxiety, just the thought of sitting down with somebody who's going to tell you, the truth about what's going on in your business. If you need, if that's something that you need to do, then you have to just get it done. And that can be a really hard roadblock for people. I encourage you, this is what I used to do. My accountant used to be next door to the local florist in town. And so I would always say, okay, if I can get through this on the way out, I'm going to go and buy myself a bunch of flowers for either to take into my business or to take home for me to enjoy. And that was my little reward that I did for myself, just to be able to get over that, initial, I don't want to do this. It also helps to be able to book appointments with these professionals, because you don't want to let them down by not turning up. And that accountability is really good as well. So whatever reward that you need, whatever incentive that you need in order to make these things happen, I encourage you to think about those, and to also be able to identify what those roadblocks are for you, in the hope that you can have some growth and work through them in order to benefit your business. All right. And now that you've had to think about some of the things that you need to be tracking in your business, I would like you to start thinking about, okay, the different areas of your business, not only the money that's coming in, also the money that's going out, but also what you're paying in terms of bringing in the brand new customers to your business. It's really important for you to have a really clear understanding of not only what that looks like now, but what it's looked like in the past. So once you've identified where you're at currently in each of these different categories, I want you to go back and complete the last couple of years worth of lists as well, so that you can see any trends, you can see any patterns, you can see anything that you're like, oh, that's really interesting, because that knowledge is power. Being able to identify that your expenses have gone, through the roof this year compared to the last 3 years is really, really valuable, because it will mean that the next time somebody calls you up and wants you to, do shopper docket advertising, you're not going to throw that money away, or you're not going to throw that money into that marketing avenue, because you know that you've got to cut back on expenses. It helps give you the tools to make really informed decisions. So the different things I want you to track is the revenue, so the money that's coming into your business, your overall expenses. What do they look like? What does your profit look like, if any, in your business? And hopefully you are pricing for profit. Hopefully you have the ability to be able to make additional money in your business. And I'm talking about profit in addition to the money that you're paying yourself, that your wage should come out of your expenses. Or you can actually separate it out. And I've given you an extra column if you're somebody who wants to really be able to see, okay, this is what the profit is in the business, but also this is what I've been able to take as the owner, or as the leader of the business as well. When it comes to your marketing, you want to know how much you're spending. When it comes to your marketing budget, you want to be able to see, okay, if I spent this amount of money, then how many customers did I get through the door for that amount of money? And so that's really easy to track. And then you can really clearly see the cost per acquisition. And that enables you to make really clear choices. I like to say to my team members that every year, once we track our cost of acquisition, we know how important it is to be able to convert those customers that come to us for the first time. It's how important it is to be able to convert those customers through to paying customers. And that is because it's cost us, $15.75, or some years $32.60, or some years $176.40, just to get them in the door, depending on what we've spent on our marketing. And if they come in the door, have a look around, and then leave, that is that money walking out the door. And so understanding your cost per acquisition is super important. And then you want to break down your total expenses. So you want to be able to see how much you're spending on marketing, how much you're spending on wages, how much you're spending on rent, how much you're spending on power and phone, and all of the extra things that go into running a business. Because there are certain percentages based on industries, and I'm being very generalized when I say this, because this is it changes for everybody. But generally, your marketing budget is somewhere between 5 and 10% of your overall expenses. Your wages can be between 25 and 40% of of your overall expenses. Your rent is usually around the 10% mark. And then it's, very individual when it comes to power and phone and the deals that you have with your providers when it comes to that. But if you can make sure that you are staying within those parameters, or you can have a look and track where you've been. Perhaps you were within those parameters in 2021, but closer to 2023, you're not. It's really important for you to be able to see each of those. And so I need you to pause the video now and to go and dive into your accounting system. Perhaps you need to call your accountant, do whatever you have to do to be able to fill in this worksheet, to be able to have a really clear understanding of the history of your numbers in your business, and of course, completing your own list of where you're at currently at this particular point in 2024. All right, and thinking about the biggest takeaways from this unit of work, perhaps there are things in your business that you haven't been tracking that you need to start. What is the first thing that you're going to implement? And can this does this need to go on your goals list, or does this need to go on your actions list? And of course, giving yourself a deadline for each of the things that you're going to action. Perhaps you're going to set aside time to do Financial Fridays to be able to look at these numbers on a weekly basis. That can be so beneficial for your business in order to make sure you know where the numbers are and where the numbers are not. It'll really help you make some really informed decisions. So I encourage you to complete your takeaways form and make sure that each of those things are on your actions list. And to wrap us up for Thrive, I want you to do a little bit of reflection on the last 6 months of your work, the last 6 months of your investment. I want you to think about the biggest takeaways or aha moments that you had when you were working on each of the activities. I want you to be able to identify the area that you need to focus on moving forward. Perhaps there were things that you learned in different modules, but perhaps there are things that you still need to kind of chase up. Maybe you haven't completed that homework task. Perhaps it's something that you've learned and that you're now implementing, but that you're afraid that this time next year it would have kind of fallen off the to-do list again. So those things that you really want to focus on, I encourage you to draw attention to those. And then I want you to identify that if you do create that focus and you do create that attention, then what will you see? What will the difference be that you see in your business and your life? Because of course, when we work on our business, when we grow our business, that of course ends up meaning that we are also growing ourselves as people. And then I want to know exactly how you're going to celebrate yourself and why you're going to celebrate yourself. And you should be celebrating yourself because you've made it all the way through to the end. And I'm incredibly proud of you. And of course, I want you to be able to identify how you're feeling about the future, just to wrap everything up. Once you've completed that, you are absolutely all done. Thank you so much and congratulations. I encourage you to take a photo of this final screen and stick it on your Insta story and tag us at Raw Success. Congratulations on investing in yourself, investing in your business. And I hope that in the future you can stay in touch and keep us up to date with all of the different ways that you are learning and growing and improving your business. And of course, put all of that information and all of that learning that you've done into your next submission for the Raw Awards. We would love to see our Thrive alumni winning big at the Raw Awards in the future. Thank you so much and talk to you soon.